Hello there. Yeah, so here I am again, finally. Like I said before, early on, I mean, it'd be dope if I ended up with followers, but I really don't know how to get them. I haven't studied the YouTube algorithm. I'm crappy at coming up with the titles. I have noticed something in common with successful channels, though, is they all seem to have titles with, like, super big grab words like finally, or, just something attention grabby like that. And I'm not very creative, so I'm crappy at coming up with titles. Tis the way it is. But, there's been a lot going on lately, and I just feel like venting some. I mean, obviously, like I said, there's a shit ton going on. Midterm elections, so, to go along with the massive culture war that's been raging for a few years now. Now we have politics thrown into it too. Holy fuck. And I guess I'll find out if, well, I could probably get away with smoking on YouTube right now because I have no followers, no subscribers, and no one's really going to see the video anyway, probably to bitch, so. But yeah. There's, there's people on the extreme right who are like, well, basically anti anything progressive for the most part. And then there's people on the extreme left who think pretty much anything and everything should just, let it all go. Fuck it. They all suck. That's why I'm an independent. Like, if I had my way, you could take the MAGA crowd on that side, and you could take the, best examples like the Squad, AOC and her crew on that side, and they could all just go take a fucking flying leap, because when it comes down to it, pretty much everyone is probably close to where I'm at, which is more or less in the middle. I freely admit when I was younger, I leaned more right. Now I kind of lean more left on most things, not all things. But yeah, there's a lot of craziness right now, and there's no escaping the culture war, not even on my nerdy shit. That right there. That's a Father's Day present from my bride. That's me in my innovator suit. I really suck at this, so bear with me. It's me in my Vader suit with a Millennium Falcon back there, coming into the Death Star on the tractor beam. And my two cats on my shoulder is Darth Smudge, who is our younger cat, and he's on my shoulder for a reason, because he fucking lives there. Don't be surprised if the timing works out and he pops down in here, and then the other cat is our cat, Malistrix, Malice for short, although they got the colors kind of fucked up on him. He's basically just gray. Well, gray stripey, not solid gray. But, yeah, I'm that kind of nerd. I'm not, like, super into the lore or anything. Like, there's so many people who know so much more. But, I love my geek shit. And, I go on YouTube. I basically just follow 3 people for, like, most of my geek content right now. Star Wars Theory, the biggest Star Wars guy in the world on YouTube. Den of Nerds, and Stupendous Wave. Now, Den of Nerds also gives me my Marvel shit, too. The other 2 are basically strictly Star Wars. Fucking fire safe strips. Anyway, but yeah, so, I go watch their videos, I go into the comments section, and the culture war is raging hot and hard there, just as everywhere. And frankly, it's getting fucking annoying. Like, everyone's bitching. And people on the right are bitching about the MCU and Disney wokeness and blah, 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 blah. And then there's people on the left who are like, that's not wokeness, that's just the way it's supposed to be. Now, I am a big fan of inclusion. However, when it comes to inclusion in entertainment, you still need to do the story right, too. I mean, Like, I really don't care what you put in a movie. If it's, you know, all super macho men or all badass chicks or, you know, a bunch of LGBTQ people, I don't care. Just make sure that's done well. That's all I give a fuck about. That's all anyone should give a fuck about. And I actually mentioned this in one of my 2 other videos, specifically on that subject, ideologies in film and, you know, media content in general. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, people can believe what they want to believe, and they can pretty much, within reason, say what they want to say. But there is a line for everyone. And that line is being crossed repeatedly by people on both sides. And frankly, it all pisses me the fuck off. And really stresses me the fuck out, to be perfectly honest, because I already have some mental health issues that I'm dealing with, and frankly, like, I can't escape everything that's going on. It's in the comments on my videos, it's on all, you know, news articles, what have you. It's everywhere. I mean, I like to keep abreast of what's going on. I like to know what's going on, but the problem is what's going on is a bunch of hot garbage and extreme views on both sides of the spectrum, both ends of the spectrum, I should say. And it stresses me out. It makes me tense, it makes me nauseous. And I don't fucking like it. You know, I understand people believe what they believe. Like, you know, for me, example, my dad's a pastor. I grew up raised in the Protestant church, not Catholic, non-denominational Protestant, if that can be specifically. I'm specifically non-denominational. Like, I'm not Baptist, I'm not Assemblies of God, I'm not Lutheran, I'm not Methodist, I'm not Episcopalian, I'm not, what else is out there, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, Mormon, you know, any of that. You know, I was raised non-denominational Christian, although probably if we had to pick one that how I was raised is closest to, probably Baptist. You'd probably call it Baptist Light, evangelical. So I am familiar with, you know, the Bible and what it says and the general themes involved and all that kind of stuff. So one of the things that gets my goat based on how I was raised is when people try to use the scripture to justify bashing on somebody for whatever, whether it be anti-religion people that use the Old Testament and all the old punishments in there to bash on Christianity without taking the time to realize that the New Testament and Jesus' sacrifice in the New Testament basically erased all those harsh laws in the Old Testament, because all those were there in the Old Testament because there was no other way to get to heaven at that point other than to, you know, strictly follow everything. Sorry, I'm videoing on my phone, so any little thing I do, and by the way, videoing on my phone in my hand because I don't have a stand or anything. I should probably play music. Music's popular in videos. Anyway, and yeah, ADD, one of my things. Squirrel! Anyway, where was I? Yes, justifications. Yeah, so, you know, people who want to use that to justify being anti-Christianity or whatever need to do their research, and they'll realize that a lot of the stuff they're bagging on is really just there for historical perspective or
for Orthodox people who follow the Orthodox version of Judaism. But yeah, so that gets my goat. People who even use some of the stuff in the New Testament to justify being harsh and judgmental and basically basically treating groups of people that they don't agree with, basically, they don't treat them as full-on humans. For example, the New Testament, at least one of Paul's letters, does decry homosexuality. Whatever. I mean, that's fine. If you want to, if you want to believe that homosexuality is evil, that's your business. However, what just drives me up a fucking wall is when people use that one little bitty verse in one of the letters Paul wrote, and then take it and then decide to treat the entire LGBTQ plus community as non-human, which is completely against the Gospels and a lot of stuff that Jesus said. Most of what Jesus said can be boiled down to one basic command: love your neighbor as yourself. Basically, don't treat people like shit. Whether you disagree with what they do or not, you're not supposed to treat people like shit. So when right-wing conservative evangelicals decide to enact laws against the LGBTQ plus community just because they don't think they should live that way is wrong. It's Bible wrong. That's the ironic part. People people cherry pick without even thinking about the overall theme of what Christ came to earth to promote, which is love and unity. Setting anything. I mean, there's probably stuff going on, and Jesus would be like, "Not cool, bro." However, he wouldn't go, "Not cool, bro," and then treat them like crap. I mean, read the Gospels. When Jesus first came around, he was hanging with what were the dregs of society back then. Lower class, people who busted their butt for a living, like, fishermen, not really an example of a rejected class of people, but, not people that, supposedly people with a reputation would hang around with a lot, because, the basic laborers, blah, blah, blah. Tax collectors, those were hated people. He turned one into a disciple, Matthew. He hung around with lepers and healed them. He hung around with prostitutes. He hung around with thieves and criminals, because those are the people he saw as needing him the most. Just like nowadays, if he were here, if the Gospels were to replay, instead of the second coming being the second coming of Revelation, if that ended up for whatever reason being a third coming and he came down now, he would be appalled at the way the church acts toward people. Just completely appalled. And that's why I have a massive problem with organized religion, because when you get too many people together, that's when politics comes into it, and that's when everything goes straight to shit, because that's when everyone starts taking sides, and it all goes downhill from there. So, yeah, I just kind of had to get that kind of stuff off my chest, at least for now. Yeah, so, I mean, basically, it comes down to this. Whether you are right-wing or left-wing or independent or libertarian or just conservative or just liberal, you don't really give a crap about the political parties, just your philosophy. It does not matter what your ideological system is. There's absolutely no reason not to treat everyone, no matter what they do, in terms of their own personal lifestyle. Obviously, you know, crime is a whole different thing. But, you know, personal lifestyle choices, like, you know, how you want to dress, how you see yourself, who you want to, you know, who you want to have sex with, all of that. None of that matters, should matter, because when it boils down to it, we should all just treat people as people, whether we disagree with their ideology or their actions or what have you. And I know that sounds, you know, hyper rose-colored glasses garbage, and will it ever happen? No. But it's something that can be aspired to. Something that we should be reminding ourselves of all the time, which is why I'm doing this, even though we'll get seen not at all, or maybe once or twice, depending on how I get the title out. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing bugging me right now, is just the ultimate hypocrisy on both sides of not wanting to treat the people you see as on the other side as less than human, which is what everything's kind of gotten down to nowadays. Period. Doesn't matter where you look. Look in the news, like I said. Look in the comment sections on, like, you know, geek content on YouTube or what have you. It's just crazy what's going on out there. And there's, like, I know that most people in the country probably actually, their ideologies probably sit closer to the middle than one end or the other, like myself. But no one's hearing from us. No one's hearing from us at all. You know, it's the MAGA crowd and the squad crowd, for, you know, lack of a better labeling system at this point for me. And I just don't understand. Like, don't get me wrong, you know, I mock people. I get judgy when I shouldn't. I freely admit this. But, you know, when the rubber meets the road, I will never reduce someone as less than human just because I don't agree with them on something. Lifestyle. What have you. You know. Anywho. Yeah, so now that's it for this one. Holy shit, 19 minutes? How the hell did I talk for 19 minutes? Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, just, you know, I don't care what your ideology is, just fucking treat people like people. And the world in general will just be a better place.